Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of your favorite Monday Night Sports Podcast here in Chicago. What's up, cuz? I am your host, Jason Palmer, and tonight we have our first full show of 2024. Man, oh man, we've been looking forward to tonight's show. We are loaded with topics because there's so much to talk about. Lance will be joining me in a half hour. He'll be joining me at 6:30, and he and I will chop up so many topics tonight. Also coming on tonight at 7 o'clock, we got a great guest for you. He's one of the assistant coaches at Northwestern University. He was the former head coach at Southern Illinois University. He and Lance go way back. Coach Chris Lowry is going to be joining us at 7 o'clock. We're going to preview the big Northwestern Illinois battle that is coming up on Wednesday for the first time in, I want to say, in my lifetime. I mean, that's scary if that's actually true. But as far back as I can remember, it's the first time with both Northwestern and Illinois men's basketball teams have been really good at the same time. So this game coming up on Wednesday in Evanston is going to be a hot one. So we're going to preview that one. We're going to talk with our guest, Chris Lowry, about that. A lot of college hoop topics going on. We also have WNBA free agency that is opened up. We'll see what the Sky are doing when it comes to WNBA free agency. It's a chance for them to load up because there's definitely some talent out there. So Lance and I are going to break down what are the needs of our Chicago Sky, and we're going to talk some of that. We're also going to talk a little bit of tennis, what's going on down in Australia with our girl Coco Gauff. So tennis season has started, so we're going to talk a little tennis. So we just got a lot of topics to start you off here in 2024. We thank you all for joining us. We hope your new year has been off to a great start so far. Oh boy, as soon as I mention a lie, now here they come. Here they come, boy. I tell you, you mention it and here they come. Yeah, so I hope your 2024 has been off to a great start. 2023, it's back there in the rearview mirror. Leading problems and debts and all that other stuff that's weighing you down, bad health issues, bad people in your life, bad karma, all that stuff, bad sports teams, whatever the hell. If it was bad, leave it back there in 2023. Look forward to 2024. That's what I'm doing. So excited for 2024 to be here. Lance is as well. And we're going to talk about what we've been up to starting out in 2024. What's up, cuz? We're also getting a new look. We're putting the final touches on our makeover. So in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some changes with our show and some new graphics and all that good stuff that we're working on. We're almost there. We're almost at the finish line to getting that stuff done. I took a look at some of the stuff today and added a couple of editorial changes. So a lot of big things coming here on Sports Zone Chicago. If this is your first time tuning into What's Up, cuz, we definitely appreciate you doing so. If you're tuning in on the Sports Zone Chicago YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to that channel. It will give you access to all of the Sports Zone Chicago shows that we have here on the network. If you are tuning in via our Roku channel, the Sports Zone Roku channel, we definitely appreciate you tuning in there. If you have not added the Roku channel to your lineup, what are you waiting for? All you got to do is put in Sports Zone Chicago. It's going to pop up for you. Add that channel to your list of channels. Put it right up there next to Netflix, Amazon Prime, Tubo TV, and all the other stuff. I got like 100 apps on my Roku thing, but the Sports Zone Chicago one is numero uno, right there, number one. So I can easily check and see what my fellow colleagues here at Sports Zone Chicago are doing. And if you want to get the Sports Zone Chicago app, because you're a person who's always on the go, you don't have time to sit in front of the TV. Maybe you don't have a TV at home. I don't know. I don't know your situation. That don't mean you can't watch our show. Go ahead and download the app today so you can listen to us on the go. You can also catch all of our live and past shows on the app as well. So be sure to check out the app. It's scrolling down there on the bottom where you can get it. And also, if you do not have the app, make sure you can go on the Google Play Store. You can get it on Amazon. Check it out. That app is beautiful, man. I love it. When I'm in the car, I just pop on the app, listen to past shows. listen to past shows myself, see what stupid stuff I said, see what smart stuff I said, and what is coming true, and kind of go from there. So, and let's stay on that topic because one of my predictions I'm still in the running for right now. The NFL playoffs. Boy, oh boy, have they been good. We are now down to the final four teams to see who is going to be the NFL champion. So the NFL Conference Championship week is here, and we have four teams. And to help me break down what has been happening in the playoffs is our super producer. You all know who he is. He's Justin Fields' greatest supporter, Sean Sierra. That's who he is.
What's going on, Jason? How we doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. It is football. Man, this is the time right now. You separate the pretenders from who's real and who's been fortunate, because sometimes injury plays a role. I think that's the thing about football. It's a lot about who's healthy at the end of the year. So, I want to start on that topic because when they added the 17th game a few years ago, I said then, man, that's just one more week to chance somebody can get hurt. I said to myself, I was like, I get they want the extra game. You're going to drop the preseason game, but you add one more week of what is a very physically demanding sport. And I was concerned about that because I didn't want, the injuries to affect, some of these teams. And, they put rules in place where you can barely touch the quarterback now. What are your
Unless your name's
thoughts?
Justin Fields, you can touch him. You can't.
Well, yeah, this is true. He tends to get hit a lot. That's true. What are your thoughts on them adding that extra regular season game, Sean? Now that we're some years down the road.
Yeah, I hate it. I think it's stupid. Um, it's at some point, how much money is enough? I mean, that was the only reason they made it. They had the extra game was for revenue, all right? And so how much is enough? I mean, owners are making over $300 million a year. Okay, this is after. For those of you who don't know, the NFL is a not-for-profit organization. All right, so at the end of the year, after all bills are paid, it gets dispersed between 31 owners and the other people or the people in Green Bay. It's shareholders. There's not an owner for the Green Bay Packers. It's owned by shareholders. So how much more do you want per year? $300 million plus a year. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty good piece of change. And you know what? To do that, and what you're doing, you're literally just putting the players who are causing you to earn this $300 million. You put them in jeopardy. Just an extra game. So I hate it. I hated it. It makes things very uneven. 16 is a nice even number. You can break it into halves. You can break it into quarters. It's just, and then 17 is just it's like a hangnail. All right, that 17th week, and it's frustrating. I hate it, Jay. I hate it. Don't like it at all. Hated it.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that from the perspective of a person who played. And you played on pretty high level, but I know the NFL level, that's the highest level. These are some of the largest, strongest, fastest human beings on earth who are colliding into each other. And you're gonna say, what's just one more week of them going at it in full speed? I just really never liked the idea. And I saw what happened to my Dolphins, what happened to us. Our defense just got decimated coming down to the end of the year. And all these teams, I mean, Kansas City lost a key linebacker yesterday in the game. I just think that extra game is really kind of hurting the product, but what it is, what it is. The other thing I was going to ask you about, since we're talking NFL playoffs, what did you think of talk about corporate breed? What'd you think about this? The NBC NFL playoff game on Peacock.
They're just telling you what they're going to do. I don't think they were testing it. I think they were just telling you what they're going to do. The NFL owns Sunday. They own it. So the NFL is going to do what the NFL is going to do. So I hate it. I mean, I don't care. I have Peacock. But not everybody does. And I just hate everything that's streaming now but again, they run it. So it's tough. It's going to be difficult for us to to avoid it, are they going to start playing games on Peacock? Yeah, I think probably next season, or definitely with 2025 they'll start. If they don't start this year, because they have time, after the Super Bowl, they can, because Peacock is part of NBC, so they have the Sunday night games NBC, so it's the same under the same umbrella. So yeah, there can be some games on there, and I mean, if you have it, it's okay, but if you don't have it, I don't know.
But you already got the game, the Thursday night game with the Amazon
Amazon
Prime.
is right, yeah.
And now you're doing a playoff game on Peacock. So now people have to get, that's just two right there that they're gonna get. So I think a good candidate for these games, they're gonna do them overseas regular season games. I think those are the ones they're gonna put on them streaming channels in the future.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all. I don't doubt it at all. I mean, the NFL is trying to make headway in Europe. They're trying to get a team out of Mexico City. They played games in
Mm-hmm.
Germany. And hell, our Bears are playing in London. On October 13th, I want to say, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the NFL's branching out. They really they are. They realize how popular they are. I think they're jealous. I think because soccer is still the number one sport in the world. I mean, because the NFL is number one here in America,
Right,
right?
right.
Hands down. Not. I think they're saying, okay, I think it's time for. I think we want to conquer the world. Is what I think they're doing, and just trying. And it's going to take a while, but yeah, they. I think they have a lot of growth on their mind.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. It's going to be very interesting. But so we'll see what happens going forward. So that's what the NFL is doing. They've added games, and now we're putting them on the streaming sites. But let's talk about the games themselves. Let's talk about Houston and Baltimore first. The Baltimore Ravens punched their ticket to the AFC Championship game after beating the Cinderella Houston team and CJ Stroud and their first year coach as well. Great season for the Texans, who had the biggest turnaround of every team in NFL. They basically went from like last to the playoff team and actually won a playoff game. But Baltimore's a different animal, aren't they, Sean? They're a different animal this year.
They really are, and you know what? They are the blueprint for what the Chicago Bears team can be.
Mm.
Baseline. I think we have a little more. We can have a little more excitement, but they what they do is they play bully ball. All right, they're very physical. They're very physical, offensively, defensively. They're renowned for their defense. Lamar Jackson is an MVP candidate every year. With his
Mm-hmm.
dual, he's probably going to win it this year, his second MVP. And they're the top seed, and I think they're going to give it a good shot. And I personally hope that they win. I want Baltimore to win. I want them to. Um, I want them to hoist the Lombardi because it's going to change the narrative about a lot of things, Jay. It's going to change the narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's the thing that I really want. Because all of a sudden, Lamar had a $150 and a $150 passing and 100 rushing
Mm-hmm.
in this game, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he had a great game." But then Justin Fields has it, and they're like, "Oh my God, he sucks. He's got to win from the pocket." Well, I'm like, no, you don't. All right, the bottom line is a win. Okay, whatever you need to do to get that is what you need to do, and that's what Lamar does, and he does it very well. And the thing about that is, when he does it, if they win it, now all the skeptics, what can they say? Well, we'll do it again. Well, no, they did it once, because the old saying from Adidas, impossible is nothing. It's always impossible until somebody does it. And then when they do it, and then people can say, "Oh wow, you know what? Maybe we don't need to have a 4,000-yard passer. Maybe we don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can be, especially in Chicago, because you expect to be slinging the ball in December and January, all right, when the
No,
weather's
ain't
like
gonna
that,
happen.
before we get our
Ain't gonna
dome,
happen.
before we get our
No,
dome in 7 years. You know what I mean?
ain't gonna happen. You try to sling the ball in Soldier Field like that, you'll be looking like that kick the Bills kicker did last night.
So places like this, it's imperative that you get, you build your team like that, and we have the guy. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
rooting for Baltimore. I really hope they win it. I really hope that He has another 250 and 175 or 150, 175 or 100 on the ground, something like that. I just hope he, walks away with the MVP, walks away with a Super Bowl title, and then that changes the narrative for a lot of people. And I think it's a great thing because Dan Orlovsky did a little thing on it last week, and he said something that was just so poignant. I don't know if you saw it, Jay. And he said, people who talk like Lamar, look like Lamar, dress like Lamar weren't supposed to win Super Bowls.
Yep.
And if you see that and you saw it, he talks about it, he goes, you can win all the MVPs you want, you can do all the passing record, rushing records, or any other records, just don't hoist that Super Bowl trophy. And if he does that, what an inspiration it is to kids in college, what an inspiration it is to kids in high school, what an inspiration it is to kids in youth ball, okay, who look like him, talk like him, dress like him, come from the same neighborhoods as him, because now you see, wow, I can come from where I came from. I can achieve the highest level, the pinnacle of this sport, and that's hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. So, I'm all behind Baltimore. Unfortunately, a lot of my Baltimore friends are kind of annoying, so I don't want to say that too loud. But I do want them to win, and I hope he does it in typical Lamar fashion, 150, 180 yards in the air and 175 to 100 yards on the ground.
There's one other piece of that narrative that you didn't mention, and I'm definitely going to mention it. The love and support he got from his mother and her business acumen when she negotiated that contract, when people were dogging Lamar out, this is why you need a real agent, da 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 da. And he bet on himself and his mother. And we've talked a lot about the relationship between mothers and sons. You're blessed to still have your mother with you, and it's an honor for you to take care of her just like I took care of my mother in her later years when she got older. And that's something that I'm never gonna gloss over, that his mother was his agent. Because let's be honest, Sean, all the fans you had, who's always been your biggest fan when you're on the field?
Yep, it's mom. No ifs, ands, or buts, man. No ifs, ands, or buts. Always mom, always yelling, always acting crazy. You could hear, and for whatever reason, it's like a dog whistle. You could, in St. Rita, you could, there'd be 5, 6, 7,000 fans in the stands, and I can hear that one voice. That one voice acted a damn fool, and screaming after her baby. So yeah, that's always biggest fan number one.
So, I just think that's really an important part of the story as well that I'll never just gloss over, is how his mother, was like, no, you're worth more than that. Make them pay you more. Make them pay you more. And boy, did they ever pay him more. And I'm just seeing him, back up the contract so that people who can't argue, oh, see, he wasn't worth it. He been worth it. He definitely been worth it. And if he win a Super Bowl, that's going to put all the arguments to rest. So the Baltimore, man, they're a very strong defense as well. Don't want to overlook what they do on defense, but I agree with you. They're just a bully team. And who will they be facing? This guy,
the crybaby.
Mahomes, he has a crybaby, and the Buffalo Bills fans were throwing snowballs at him.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's messed up.
I don't know what Patrick was thinking. He thought he was going to go into the front row to hug his wife and friends, and the people was pelting him with snowballs. It looked like us back in the day, Sean, when you have a snowball fight against the other block.
but you see what I mean, OJ? That's the entitlement. You know what I mean? I'm Patrick Mahomes. You can't do that to me. They're like, we don't give a damn who you are. We don't get none of your $500 million. Take this snowball to the head. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like the way your teammates were already taunting them on the sidelines, but you're gonna actually walk over to these people. And remember, half of them have been shoveling snow, Sean. And so,
yep. The entitlement, bro. The entitlement. And you know what? And I don't condone it, because you get hit in the eye, you get hit in the ear. Yeah, it could do some stuff, but don't do stupid shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, don't go into the wrong neighborhood wearing the wrong colors. It's a freedom of speech. Exactly. Okay, sure. Just You got to understand what the consequences are. All right.
Right.
Like don't go in Inglewood and you're a KKK member with a sheet. You know what I mean? Like you know where not to go, what to do. It's a free country. You have every right to do that, but be careful. Be careful of the repercussions. That's all I'm saying. Be careful of the repercussions.
I mean, Sean, you worked event security. You still work event security. I mean, can you imagine event security in Buffalo when they saw him going over to this? I know they're like, no, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Don't
oh,
make
you know
me
they, you know, the security knew. You know they knew. Like this dude, he got some cojones on him, man. He don't care. Well, he don't care enough to get a shot to the head. Okay, then here it comes.
Oh man, that was hilarious. So anyway, so now the game itself. Buffalo did the Ice Cube choke like the Buffalo Bills. I'll never get that lyric in the Ice Cube song, and they choked it away, man, again. Now, don't get me wrong, they were decimated on defense as well. They only had like 4 healthy linebackers or something going into the game. Then they lost one during the game. And so you know that hurts. But you know, hey, I'm a Dolphin fan, so you don't get no sympathy from me. We lost our 2 damn edge rushers.
Understandable.
So you know, I thought it was a great game, though. Really competitive, man. Just back and forth, 2 great quarterbacks going at it. What were your thoughts on that game? And what do you think was the key turning point that got the Chiefs that victory?
Well, I agree with you. The fact that it was a great game. It was back and forth, and you know, I think the Chiefs just wore them down, and what they did, which is they took advantage of the fact that a lot of their linebackers were out, so they would get, you know, to get to the second level, and Pacheco, the running back, he's a very violent runner, so you know, he was able to do some work. You got those guys in the coverage, those second and third and fourth string linebackers that they had. You got them in coverage. All right, you're hitting guys and forcing them to cover tight ends and running backs and slot guys. And you know, if you're second, you know, third and fourth team, yeah, your skill level is as great as an athlete you may be. It's not to the level of a first team slot receiver and you know, a running back in the NFL. So it was a mismatch there. And what they did is I believe that they just exploited that mismatch. That's the thing that they saw. They realized it, and they went after it. All right, that's, you know, that's hats off to Andy Reid and the scouting staff and seeing and the players for understanding what the game plan was and implementing it. That's all. You know, you find a weakness. I mean, like any sport, you find someone who's hurt, you find a weakness. Well, hell, what happens when a cornerback goes out for, even if it's a play? 9 out of 10 times, quarterback goes right. Who came in? 32. Okay, let's go after him. First play. Because he's you know, when he's not that good, because he's not as good as the first, because he's a second teamer. But 2, he might not be warmed up. He might be, you know, he's not lathered up and everything. You know, he might pull a hammy or get a little tight and he's running. Who knows what can happen? That's why you go after him. So you know what? They found the weak spot and they exploited it. And you know what? I ain't mad at it. That's part of the game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, without a doubt. And you know, I bring this up too because I know a lot of Bears fans wanted Eberflus not to come back, and I'm not for this fire coaches, you know, in their second year. You know, give people a chance. You know, I think about what the Eagles did when they had Andy Reid, and now, you know, we look at him as, you know, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Let's not forget he got fired.
Yeah,
it's not. You know, he got
Belichick got fired too. Belichick got
fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta give these people an opportunity. And now you see what's happened in that he's figured it out. And you know, the Chiefs somehow find a way to win. And don't get me wrong, you got one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in Mahomes. His resume speaks for itself. Kid's a winner. That helps you. But I tell everybody, football more than any other sport is where coaching really, really matters. And Belichick, one of the best. Andy Reid, one of the best. Like you said, both of them have been fired. So I'll say this to Bears fans: be a little patient with Eberflus, for the love of God. You know, for the first year, the man didn't even have a team. It got decimated, you know. So to me, this was kind of like his first year. Yeah, he made some mistakes, but you know, he's learning like everybody else. But I think he's a solid guy. I think he's got a great culture going on. And I think that's what Andy Reid has been able to do with the Chiefs, is to keep that winning mentality, that winning culture, and guys want to play for him. And he makes adjustments. He comes up with great schemes, and he keeps good coaches around him, because he doesn't do it all. He's got some great assistant coaches, and they know talent, man. The GM knows talent. Everybody, it seems like they know what they're doing in Kansas City. And Buffalo, wow. I mean, going into this, they were the hottest team. I thought Kansas City had a chance to pull it out, but I was going to try to give edge a little bit to Buffalo because they were playing at home. I said, well, maybe they can do it. And then my man missed the kick.
Yeah, that was a really bad one. I mean, that's what heading into, if you saw it, it was a sharp turn on that kick.
Yeah.
And that's the way the wind was going there, as we obviously saw. But kicking to that end of the stadium, the wind was going from left to right, and he got all of his square. He didn't try and hook it, or he didn't try to go to the left upright and have it curve back through the middle, and that's where he screwed up. And we don't know, because don't forget, the wind's a funny thing. We have it here at Soldier Field, and it could be going left to right, and all of a sudden, just as that ball snapped, that wind stops. It could stop like that. So you kick it, trying to get the play off the wind. The wind don't play. The wind ain't playing, and all of a sudden you're like, how the hell did you hook it? But because you're going off the wind, you know what I mean? So it's tough, man. It's really tough, and there were a lot of other chances for them to win. A lot of other chances for them to, it didn't come down to the kick, all right. Even though everyone's gonna say, oh, the kicker missed and blah blah blah. There were a lot of other chances that they had. Kansas City too, because Patrick Mahomes wasn't Patrick Mahomes. He missed 2 open receivers for touchdowns that up until this point he would have hit. We would have seen him hit that, and do a little dance or whatever and score. But he wasn't on all cylinders as well.
No, he wasn't. And they took advantage of it. It's just, like I said, it's just one of them things with this team, and they just find a doggone way to win. And they took advantage of it, put themselves in a position to win, and came away with the victory. But that's why they are the champs, and you got to be able to knock a champion out. So
what Ric Flair said, Jay. You know what Ric Flair said: to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And Buffalo ain't been able to beat him.
That's true. Ain't been able to beat him yet. So we will have the Chiefs going against the Ravens on Sunday for the AFC Championship. Let's turn to the NFC. Hey, we got some good news from Jason, because he predicted this team was going to get to the Super Bowl, and now one game away, the Detroit Lions. With another victory, their second victory in this playoffs, they advance after a great game. Another great game. Man, these games were really good. They beat Tampa Bay and the resurgent Baker Mayfield, who looks like he is now finally
earning a contract.
That's right. He's like, so what? It took 4 teams. I'm here, damn it. Baker Mayfield is in Tampa Bay. Went up to Detroit. Great game. The Lions come away with the victory. My hope, Sean, and I had predicted the Lions and my Dolphins in the Super Bowl this year. My Dolphins not going to get there, even though we made the playoffs. The Lions still have a chance. But I want it to be Detroit and Baltimore. You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because that is going to be the blackest of black Super Bowls. You got Chocolate City all over the place. You got Baltimore, which is as black as can be, along with the DC area, and Detroit. I don't know what so many people going to do if it's them 2 cities in the Super Bowl. And it's going to be playing in Las Vegas. So, Lord have mercy, if them 2 teams make it, they fans decide to go to Las Vegas.
Only thing blacker than that. Only thing blacker than that could be Atlanta and Baltimore. That's about it. Or Atlanta.
That's right.
You don't want the whole ATL roll to. That'd be crazy. The whole ATL roll to Vegas.
Let's be honest. I'm gonna take it even further than that. We're talking about some hardcore black people in Detroit and Baltimore. I mean, them cities are struggling. So, this is big for both of those cities. That's the other reason why I want to see it, because I just think it would be a big boom. You see how crazy they going in Detroit right now. Eminem is at games. trying to find Smokey Robinson and bring him out of off-ball to Motown. I mean, it's just been amazing, and I can't wait if it's Detroit and Baltimore. I just think that's going to be a great series. But the Lions, David Montgomery, former Bear, Jared Goff, who came over in the trade for Max Stafford. He's now, getting his chance to show his worth. What did you think of that game between the Lions and the Buccaneers?
I thought the Lions were really focused. I thought it's been a point. It's 30 something years since they held a home playoff game, since they won a home playoff game back with Barry Sanders. So it's I'm happy for them. I think the end of the road is Sunday in Santa Clara, placing the Niners. But I'm happy for them. I'm really happy for them. The city deserves it. Michigan just won the national championship in college football. Now the Lions are in the NFC championship game. I'm happy for them. Football is king right now in Michigan, and you know what, they deserve it. I mean, let's be honest. It's 30 years. There are 30-year-old people in Detroit who've never seen a playoff game. You know what I mean? You know how I tease, like, yeah, there's 5 years old, because back when the Sox won it, like, yeah, in 2010, like, there's 5-year-olds who haven't seen a White Sox World Series. They're literally generations of 30-year-old people who've never seen a Detroit Lions playoff game. Not to mention one at home. You know what I mean? So it's really good. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the community, and it's money. It's money, man. People are buying, how we were when the Bulls were winning it, when the Bears won in 85, when the Sox won it, when the Cubs won, when the Hawks were winning it. Man, we're buying this shirt, we're buying that shirt, we're buying the officially licensed gear, we're buying the knockoff gear, we're buying the stuff that falls off the back of a truck. We're buying, you know what I mean? All types of stuff. Newspapers, flags, banners. You know what I mean? Everything, legal, illegal. You know what I mean? Fake, authentic, counterfeit. Didn't matter. We're buying it. Right. You know what I mean? Just to have that gear, and it's great for the for the community up there. It really is.
Yeah, I agree, man, and I can't wait to see that. I picked Detroit at the beginning of the year. I thought they were the hottest team last year, and I saw that they were really building something. And I thought they had a chance this year to sustain it. And, like you always say, you were expecting Detroit to Detroit themselves. But I just thought this was a different team. And they're a very fundamentally sound team. They don't beat themselves.
No, not anymore.
They don't have the, quote, superstar factor like some of the other teams do. But they got a damn good football team and a really good coach who's got them believing. And, you got a fan base that's rabid, like you just talked about. So they are flying high. And the reason why I give them a chance against San Francisco is Green Bay took San Francisco to the max. They really did. They actually should have won the game, but they made so many mistakes. I mean, my man dropped a serious pick six earlier in the game. That would have changed the tide. They're going to focus on the missed field goal in that game from your rookie kicker and, Jordan Love's terrible pass to end the game. But they made mistakes all throughout that game where they could have put San Francisco away. And, Brock Purdy, still a good quarterback, don't get me wrong, but any quarterback can be flustered with pressure. And they were putting pressure on him. But he did what he needed to do in the fourth quarter to put a drive together to get the 49ers in there. But, Jones was giving them fits with the running game. I mean, the Packers gave them everything they could. And like I say, probably should have had the game, but they're a young team. They're going to make some mistakes. They're not as solid as the Lions are right now in terms of not beating themselves. And I think that's what really cost them. But what do you think going into this NFC championship between the Lions and the 49ers?
Get pressure on Brock Purdy. Get pressure on him, and he'll give it up. And you know what? There's a reason he was Mr. Irrelevant. There's a reason he was the last person taken in the draft. The reason he's not the most talented guy. He might be one of the most coachable. Okay, but the talent, the overall physical talent, he's not going to win a game for you. All right, he's just not going to lose it. And if you put pressure on him, it's gonna sphincters tighten, man, as he's going along, because every game he plays, it's uncharted territory for him. He never played in NFC. Well, no, I take that back because he got into the NFC Championship game last year. So
Sure, right,
right, but they're down to their seventh quarterback. But
right, right.
it's a situation where, I think he's looking forward to doing what he did in the regular season, and that was getting the ball to the playmakers. And one of his playmakers, his status is up in the air, and that's Deebo Samuel's. Luckily, his shoulder is not. There's nothing broken in his shoulder. Sometimes you just wish it would be broken, because if he's got like a strained shoulder, a ligament or a sock, it lingers. But they're hoping he
Yep.
can play on Sunday. But he's still got Brandon Ayuk. He's still got George Kittle. He's still got CMC, Christian McCaffrey. He's got a lot of weapons. He's got a great offensive line. So he's going to, he's got a shot. He does. He really does.
Yeah, I'm anticipating that to be one heck of a game. That game will be in San Francisco. So we shall see. They had some rain and cold out there in San Francisco. And let's remind everybody, San Francisco ain't Southern California. So they get weather. They get cold. They will get some rain. So it could be very interesting. And you would think Detroit, but Detroit plays in a dome. So you can't really say that. The advantage for the weather in this case actually might be with San Francisco. So, what can you say? But I'm really looking forward to both of these games.
Did you hear the female reporter?
Oh, leave the poor reporter alone, Sean. She don't cover sports. They sent that poor girl out there. I was like, I cringed though. I was like, oh, sweetheart.
I was like, you know what? You just set women back 20 years. And it was funny. When Todd Bowles was like, is this like, am I on Punked? Is this for real? And I was like, oh man, oh boy.
You know what it reminded me of? Like during Super Bowl, during the media.
Yes, and you get the crazy question.
No, he's like, we ain't at the Super Bowl yet. Why are they asking me this? And so I did some research into the reporter. She's a general assignment reporter. She knows nothing. She was probably doing the research all the way down to cover the story. And they put her in a bad position. So I'm not going to dog her out too much. I thought it was more funny. Than anything. But I was like, oh boy, here we go. You need to mess yourself up with this one. But I give Todd Bowles credit. He handled it very professionally, because had it been Mike Ditka
or somebody else, yeah,
or Belichick, who is already kind of snooty. So all's well and well. It was a great laugh for her, and I hope she has a great career in this industry. But she probably is gonna be like, "Don't y'all send me no more NFL games." Don't evade my beat. Y'all done sit me down here, but it is what it is. So, all right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. My cousin Lance, he is back in the green room preparing to come on. He should be on in the past next couple of minutes. We're going to talk some college basketball, because regular season is getting ready to come down to an end. We're going to have conference playoffs starting in about 2 or 3 weeks. And then before you know it, March Madness is going to be here. So we're going to talk some college basketball tonight. We got Chris Lowry from Northwestern. He's coming on at 7:00 p.m. Lance and I are going to talk to him, and he's going to tell us what it's like getting ready to play in this big rivalry game between Northwestern and Illinois, which is coming up on Wednesday, with both of these teams having great records. And both of them probably could qualify for the tournament now if they can keep it up. But we'll preview that matchup with my cousin Lance. You are watching What's Up, Cuz. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Sean Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
I faced one of the toughest challenges of my life right here. I couldn't swim. But I can still hear my drill instructor today.
Don't quit. If you quit now, you'll always quit in life. Go for it.
So I jumped in, unsure, apprehensive, and scared out of my mind. But I came up a Marine.
The proud, the Marines.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to What's Up, Cuz? I'm your host, Jason Palmer. With my cousin, Lancey Irvin, who's going to join me in a couple of seconds here. He's back in the green room because I need him because we got some breaking news today that we need to talk about. So, cousin Lance, if you're there, come on on. Come on on.
What's up, cuz?
Cuz, what's up? How you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm always grinding, always grinding.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
What's up with the Northwestern shirt, though? I mean, all this.
Well, you know why I gotta wear the purple and white tonight. We got Chris Lowry coming on 7:00, man. So you know I gotta wear my semi-school colors. I went there for a whole summer. That counts.
Oh, so you got a shirt from Chris and he didn't get me one, huh? Oh, we're gonna have to ask CeeLo about that. Let me put that down on one of my questions.
The sad part is I got it at the game when you were coaching Chicago State. Y'all played at Northwestern. So the colors I am, I'm wearing enemy colors. But you know what it is. But hey, man, that's some breaking news, man. I gotta talk to you about this because you know you on your grind, but somebody we know ain't on their grind no more.
Oh my goodness, what is it? What is it?
Tony is out at DePaul. DePaul announced this afternoon that they have fired their head coach in the middle of the season, Tony Stubblefield, in his third year. He is gone. He has been replaced. DePaul has said they will now start a new national search for a coach. So when you were late today, I told Sean Lance applying for the DePaul job, man. That's where he is right now.
No, but first, hey, shout out to Tony Stubblefield. I know him. He's a good person. The last thing I wanted to hear was that he got fired with like with like half of the season left to go. And you hate to have somebody get fired before the season is over, right? This is not football where normally guys get fired with a game or two left and they finish out the season, they go on the bowl games and stuff like that. Right, so, right. You know, I'm not going to use the word that I'm shocked, I might be shocked at the timing, but like you a journalist, you in the news media and shine and stuff, and we hear different things. And we was hearing that the administration and other folks at DePaul was really not happy with the progression of the program. Not trying to blame Tony, but when you the captain of the ship, you get a lot of blame. You get a lot to blame when stuff doesn't go right. And a couple of weeks ago, it was an article in the Sun Times, maybe about a month ago, I say, Jay, and they asked Mr. Peavy, who's the athletic director, some pointed questions. And some of his answers was let's say they were some answers that had me digging a little bit. They asked him about the state of the program. He said, "I wish it was better." Then he mentioned some he wish he had more people in the seats. Cold word is revenue not being generated from butts being in the seats. They asked him about a change, and he said, I probably wouldn't make a change unless the program hit rock bottom during this point in time in the season. And I didn't hear the words, "That's our coach." We bagging him 100%. So when I heard those some words, and I've been around long enough, and you'd have been around sports long enough, you understand that as a coach, those not the words that you want to hear, especially when you're trying to build a 65 million practice facility. When those code words that I was reading when I read the article pointed to money and revenue, and it might be time for a change. So they made the change. I mean, it's tough for Coach Stubblefield. Hopefully he had a decent buyout where at least he got some of his money, or AKA like the Irvins called it, he got his bread before he left out. But I think you can't argue with them for making a change, Jay, right? We might not like the timing, but I think those of us in the basketball community understood and was hearing that a change was about to be made at some particular point in time.
Yeah, I think the loss 5 days ago to Providence, I think that's the one that really did it. They lost 100-62. And when I saw that one, I was like, ooh, that's kind of rough. And they got a tough road ahead of them. They got to play Marquette this week. They got to play Butler. No. I'm sorry, they just lost to Butler. They got to play Marquette. They got to play Creighton. They got to play number 1 UConn again.
They have Seton Hall coming up. Tough road. So it's tough.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I read we're gonna let Matt Brady, who was the coach at Marist and another program, take over at the helm at this particular point in time. So you hope he could have the guys, at least consistently playing hard, and hopefully they come out with a victory here too. But the Big East, Jay, that's a tough league. When you look up and down, and you just name some of the teams they have coming up, they have Marquette with Shaka Smart. Marquette has really been playing good this year. They're in the top 25. You have Creighton, who just beat Seton Hall the other day in a barn burner double overtime game. They're in the top 25. You have Seton Hall coming up with Shaheem Holloway, who's been doing an excellent job. You have Rick Pitino. They play St. John's coming up. So if you look up and down the Big East, it's some Hall of Fame coaches and some coaches that have been to the Final Four in that league. So that league is hard. It'll be interesting who they will hire after the season. You've been hearing some names. You hear Coach Drew at Grand Canyon, which I don't know. Some people saying Dusty May at FAU, who went to the Final Four last year. You've been hearing the guys like somebody name. I want to say somebody mentioned the coach at Vermont or something like that. So it'll be interesting at Vermont I read his name. And so we'll see, but those just speculation right now. Rashad Burnham, Northern Illinois, they beat DePaul earlier this year. So I read his name in a couple of articles that I read. So we'll see how it goes, Jay. Gotcha. But do you have any thoughts on the Cubs?
Well, my thoughts on it is that I'm just going to keep it real with you. DePaul ain't been the same. I'm not going to go back as far as when you were there with Joey Meyer. Because they still have some squads after that when they had Quentin Richardson,
Pat Kennedy.
When we had Pat Kennedy. But ever since Pat Kennedy left, DePaul has been kind of irrelevant on the Chicago sports scene, and that really hurts because we all grew up with DePaul basketball. We all grew up with it in WGN, going back to Dallas Comedies and Rod Strickland and Kevin Edwards and Mark Aguirre. DePaul basketball was like our Chicago team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And, to see how bad they've fallen just off the sports radar in Chicago, it's really hurtful. And I'm hoping they can really kind of turn around. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. They find another coach. It feels like they're constantly just resetting and resetting and resetting. And at some point, they got to get it right. I want to stay on DePaul real quick because this is our first full show back, and you didn't get a chance to really talk about this. Over the holidays, we lost a family friend. We lost Coach Joey Meyer, former coach at DePaul, son of Ray Meyer, passed away at the age of 74. You got your first college coaching job because of Joey. So I know he holds a special place in your heart as he does with the rest of the family. So talk to me a little bit about Coach Joey and just what he meant to you.
Man, like you said, because he gave me my first opportunity to coach. And some people don't know, he not only gave me opportunity to coach, he gave Byron a chance to coach in the G League. So he gave Byron an opportunity too. And I learned a lot from Coach Joe, Jay. Like, I came into the business at 22 thinking I knew everything. And lo and behold, I didn't know everything. I remember, Jay, to tell you a short story. I thought I knew about scouting and plays, right? So I sat down, hey, coach, they running this play, this play, this play. And he just sat there with a perplexed look on his face. So I'm like, Coach, why are you looking funny? He said, Irv, it's more to those two plays than you wrote. So I'm feeling a little bit hot and upset, Jay. I said, no, it's not, Coach. It can't be. He said, yes, it is. So he whips it out, draws the play. So I go back and look at the plays, Jay, and he was right. So I go in there, hey, Coach, you was right. So he's like, Irv, it's always an ending to the play. You can't be so anxious to think the play is over. You got to watch a couple of times. See, so he taught me how to scout, and people don't understand, Jay. If you gave him a couple of days to get ready for a team, there was none better than Joey Meyer. And I often tell people he was a better person than he was coach, right? When you young at 22 and making 12,000, which I was making, Jay, that's not a lot of money. But every Christmas, Jay, what you say, cuz? My first 2 years at DePaul, 2.5 years, I was making 12,000. I lived at home, 12,000. So you thinking about.
That's funny. What's funny, Lance?
What's that?
Because you were making 12,000 as an assistant at one of the high-profile programs, and your 20-year-old cousin who was coming to all the games for free was making more money than you working at the damn hospital.
But back then I had the title restricted earnings coach, Jay. So you had three other full-time coach. I can't remember. 3 other full-time coach. I can't remember, something like that.
Oh man, I feel bad now though, Lance.
So Jay, every Christmas, Coach Joe would give me like $1,500. So I was happy for that $1,500. And from time to time, he'd give me a couple of money. Every time we went out somewhere, he used to pick up the tab. So Coach Joe taught me how you pick up the tab for the young was coming up. But man, he was a good person. His family, Barbara, his son and stuff, they was always nice to me. So shout out to Coach Joe. He was a great person. Like I said, he gave Byron an opportunity. He was always good to the family. And like I said, he was a really good coach and a better person. But Jay, he used to take care of me. And like I said, he taught me a lot. Taught me how to scout. He gave me opportunity, Jay. He let me do drills and practice. Because a lot of times, Jay, when you're young, coaches don't let you do nothing. They just let you sit there. No, they don't. Right. They don't let you do nothing much or nothing. But he gave me the opportunity to coach, and he let me coach once he felt like I was ready. But until I got ready, he wasn't letting me do. Like I said, he was steady grooming me. That's the better word. He was always grooming me. So shout out to him, yeah, Jay. But I was making every bit of 12,000. After After taxes, I was bringing home per month about $567, and my car note was like $282.34.
It's like 19. It's like 91.
It was
92.
1992.
Yeah, I was at the hospital. I was working in the hospital. I know I was making at least $24,000 a year at that point.
And Jay, no, I was making $12,000, and during that stretch, that's when we changed conferences. I remember Coach telling me a story about Irv. The way you stay on top of things is like your budget. He talked to me about budgets and stuff, and he told me a story about the budget has stayed the same, but when Memphis and everybody came in, their budget was expanded, and the budget at DePaul stayed the same. So now you start off here. Now people leapfrogging, and at the end of the day, sometimes, Jay, it comes down to a little bit of money too now. So he taught me about budget and stuff. So he definitely taught me it's more than coaching, Jay. Just showing up and coach, he made me do, Jay. I had to do everything from checking classes to watching film to film exchange to setting up workouts. I had to make sure we had practice time. So he gave me an opportunity really to learn how to do everything. I didn't skip steps. Sometimes people think, because my last name Irvin, I skip steps. No, Coach Joe didn't let me do that. He didn't let me skip steps. That's why I'm thankful for the tools that he gave me. We could ask Chris Lowry. Chris Lowry, when he come on, he didn't skip steps either now.
No, he didn't. I'm at because you all were in Conference USA. Was DePaul in Conference USA when you were there?
We started off, if I remember correctly, I want to say the Great Midwest, I think.
I remember that name.
Then we moved on to the Conference USA. Marquette, Memphis, Cincinnati, Notre Dame was in there at one particular point in time. So I remember the conference, the Great Midwest, followed by the Conference USA.
Man. Damn, Sean, I feel bad. I was getting free tickets and kicking it. I could have paid for the damn tickets. I could have helped the program out. Look at me. I'm getting all the freebies. I'm like, man, there's one more. So we like, yeah, man. Our cousin, he assistant coach, man. He big time. You tell me your salary, cuz. Now I feel
12,000, cuz. $12,000. Well, we can ask. We asked Chris when he come on about $12,000. I'm sure Chris understood.
That's deep. That is deep. Well, yeah. So Joey Meyer, he was always good to me too. Every time I come and visit you, Lance, your little cousin here again. He comes, boy. He comes.
But Jay, he had some really good players though, from Ross Strickland to Kenny Patterson to Dallas Comezy to David Booth to Tommy Kleinsmith to Curtis Price. I mean, they kept players. They kept players.
They did.
So shout out to
they did. Yeah, and I really do want to see DePaul get back.
Tyrone Corbin. I can't forget Tyrone Corbin. I used to love Tyrone Corbin.
Can't forget about Ty Corbin, man. Yeah, just had a squad, man. And, and let's not forget Joey was also there as an assistant under his father, Ray Meyer, too. Mm-hmm. So, he was part of all the old school players, too, like Mark Aguirre and, Walter Downing and just all them dudes, man.
Lampley, Skip Dillard.
Skip Dillard. I mean, he was a part of all of that. So, again, rest in peace to Coach Joey, man. Really was heartbreaking news when I found that out. And I know you were traveling and was unable to make the funeral services as well. But I heard the funeral services were very nice. So just a shout out to Coach Meyer. We are going to take a quick commercial break. And then Lance and I are going to come back. We got Chris Lowry coming up. We're going to talk Northwestern basketball, their big game against the Fighting Illini this Wednesday night. So Chris is coming up. But right now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And once again, rest in peace to Coach Joey Meyer. We're going to miss you, Coach Joe. Thank you for the opportunities you gave to our family.
No, I don't know, though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so... that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
Know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with my cousin, the coach himself, Lance C. Irvin. Also, before we keep rolling with tonight's show, we got some sad news today for our community. Dexter King, the youngest son of Dr. Martin Luther and Coretta Scott King, passed away today. Young man at the age of 62 had been battling prostate cancer. He passed away today. And, the King family is royalty for Black America. Let's just be honest. This is, these are our royalty figures, the family of Malcolm X, the family of Dr. Martin Luther King. They're icons for us. And, I didn't even know Dexter was sick, but he had been sick for a while, battling that prostate cancer, and he passed away today. So we just want to take a quick moment to recognize the King family, to send our condolences and our love to the King family. That family has sacrificed so much for our community and for the world and all peace-loving people in general. But they hold a special place in the African-American community. So just want to say rest in peace to Dexter King, who passed away today down in Atlanta. So we are back. We've got Chris Lowry coming up in a little bit here on tonight's show. Hey, what's up, Crazy Ace? How you doing? We're talking a lot of college basketball on tonight's show. And, we're right in that part of the season, Lance, where coaches kind of know who their team is. They know their weaknesses. They know their strengths. At this point of the season, with the conference playoffs probably going to start in about another, 2 or 3 weeks, usually like middle of February.
March. The high majors start at the first weekend, first week after March. The mid majors normally start about end of February, something like that. But you're right, about 3 weeks away, about a month. We safe a month away.
Okay, so we got about a month away for these conference tournaments start. As a coach, at this point in the season, what are you thinking? What is your philosophy at this point in the season?
Philosophy is to make sure your guys healthy first and foremost, right? You don't want injuries to take away from guys' productivity. And you you want to make sure guys going to school, right? Because they still student athletes.
Going to school.
But
Okay.
but on a basketball court, Jay, you trying to keep your guys fresh because it's the dog days of the season, right? Everybody's banged up, everybody's hurt a little bit, but you want to make sure the chemistry is right. You want to make sure guys play hard. You want to make sure they sharing the basketball, and you want to make sure that they're playing well on the defensive end. Like you want to make sure that your flaws, I say, are your strengths now. So you making sure stuff is being fine tuned. And mentally, you want your guys to be fresh mentally too. Also, we talk about the physical a lot, but basketball is mental too. You know, a couple of plays down the stretch, Jay, guys not thinking right, that can cost you the game. And right now, Jay, these wins are hard to get. Like it's tough. I tell people all the time, it's tough winning. It's real tough. Like I told Nick and them the other day, Arizona State. Arizona State is 5-2 in the conference. They lose to USC. That's a big game. You win the game, Jay. Now you 6-1. And that's a home game. And you were up 12-13 and you had the game. So win is hard to get. You close that game out, you 6-1. I think they go to like 13-6 or something like that. You feeling a little bit better about yourself. So you want to make sure you holding on to winning games that you need to win. Like there's no time to lose a game you're not supposed to lose, Jay, especially when you fight for tournament berths. And it's a little bit
That's all I was
different.
gonna say.
It's a little bit different when you're in like the Big Ten per se, because it's something now, Jay, it's quad one win. Quad one's win is basically teams in like the top 25, top 30 and stuff like that. Those wins help you when it comes time to say, okay, this team is better than this team. This team has quad one wins. That's the criteria for making a tournament. See, the Big Ten has a luxury and the Big 12 has luxury where they have half the teams in their conference ranked. So you could pick up a win or two to make your resume look good. Some of the other teams, like in different conferences, like the MEAC and some of those conferences, you don't have an opportunity to get quad one wins. That's what I was talking to Nick about. I said, Nick, the only ranked in y'all conference right now is Arizona. So y'all quad one wins hard to come by. So that's a team Nick and them really need to beat if they trying to boost their conference resume.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you that because, every year we got them bubble teams. And let's remember last year, everyone was on the state. We wasn't sure if they were going to make it in or not. They did make it in. But I can imagine just the stress that these coaches are under at this point in the season because, you don't want to have to be that team that has to win your conference tournament to get that automatic bid. You'd like to have it kind of wrapped up before it gets to that point, I'm sure.
Hey, Jay, plus I'm sitting there laughing because now some coaches have bonuses in their contract, and your wife understands and know that bonus if you make the tournament. So your wife pulling at you too. Hey, y'all need to figure it out. Y'all need to figure it out. We need that extra money. So now you want to make sure guys mentally and physically tough right now.
That's right, especially when you're making $12,000 a year, like Lance
When
Everett was his
you
first
make
year.
12,000, you need that little tournament money, Jay. Ooh, that goes a long way.
I know that's right. All right. So we are ready to bring our guest on. I see him back there in the green room. He knows what it's like in grinding. And I'm gonna ask him what was his first salary. Since you shared with us, you made $12,000 a year at the ball. I want to see what Chris was making at his first job. But you go ahead and introduce and give us his credentials and all that good stuff.
You know what? Chris is a friend first and foremost. I don't call everybody a friend, but Chris is a friend, Jay. And if you look at his track record and look at his resume, like Jay, he started off at Red Lake, SIU, Jay, where he was 2 times Missouri Valley Coach of the Year, went to 4 NC2A tournaments, Jay. Come on. Then he goes to Kansas State, Jay. At Kansas State, 10 years, Jay. This was basically unheard of. They go to 5 NC2A tournaments in 10 years, Jay. They're beating conference player of the years on the defensive end. He goes to Northwestern, Jay, and I saw Northwestern the year before CeeLo got there, right? They weren't as tough as they are now. So his first year, Jay, they go to the NC2A tournament. This year, they're 13-5. They have a shot again going to the NCAA tournament. So it's not a coincidence that he wins everywhere he goes. And Chris brings a level of toughness, and he's a really, really, really good coach, Jay. So, I'm happy to call them as friends, and Chris will bring it out of you, Jay. But also, man, I'm going to talk to him about, Chris can tell you about a steak now. Him and Paulus now, they understand steaks. And his wife, Erica, is probably one of the best cooks in the country. Erica need her own. Matter of fact, she need a restaurant, but I'm not gonna get started on that. But
get them. Go, Chris, let's have some steaks.
Hey, let's bring CeeLo out so we can talk about some basketball first.
There he is. Oh, wait, something is blipping. Sean? What's that, Chris? How you doing? Welcome to What's Up, Cuz, man.
What's good, man? Hey, Lance, she don't want a restaurant. She want a food truck so she can drive around. So we can move around.
CeeLo, she want the food truck.
Yeah, man, she need to be mobile.
Hey, first, thanks for being on, but Jay, I gotta tell you, man. Seriously, Chris' wife is probably one of the best cooks I ever been around. When we lived in Carbondale, Brookie used to try to run over CeeLo house. Paul was like, the Erica cooked today. The players running over a house. But that's how you got to take care of the players. What's up, CeeLo? You doing good, babe?
What's good, man? Thanks. First of all, I love that shirt, man. That's that good purple and white. That's a beautiful shirt.
That's right. I did about some of my deal, Chris, so I feel entitled to wear my Northwestern shirt.
Hey, CeeLo, I asked the man. I said, whoa, hold up. I said, CeeLo sent you a shirt I didn't know about. I said, what you doing? But man, Chris, man, I'm so proud of you, man. You just don't know. You've been winning everywhere you've been. You're hard work, you grind. But Chris, talk to us about Northwestern, like what you brought to the table. Because I told you last year before you got there, and I watched them play while you was there. I didn't think they was as tough. Then I saw somebody get cleaned up when they shot a layup. I said, "Oh, okay." CeeLo back to his old trick. CeeLo back to his old trick. Hey, Jace, we had the no layup rule. I said, CeeLo back to his old tricks. But talk to us about Northwestern, CeeLo.
Man, it's very interesting, man. And when you're a college basketball fan, we grew up in the Midwest, and in the Big Ten, where Northwestern always stood.
Mm-hmm.
And people always say, you can't win there, you can't do this, or you can't do. And they had already won. They'd already been to the NCAA tournament before, so Coach Collins had already gotten that stigma off their back where they've never been to the NCAA tournament. But what I try to do is just bring to the culture level of toughness and a level of doing things the right way that we want to do them on a daily basis, man. And that's like doing things on a daily basis to help us win. And obviously it shows up on the defensive end, but it shows up in their brotherhood, on the court and their camaraderie, and it makes them tougher. And if they can handle the adversity on a daily basis, then they can use that to beat any opponent we play.
One thing, CeeLo, you guys been pretty good. You're 13-5 right now. You beat Michigan State. You beat Purdue. You have Illinois coming up on Wednesday. And Jason was just asking us at this point in time in the season, what do you look for? What are you guys looking for, not only Wednesday, but later on during the season?
Man, this league, like, when you're in these high boy leagues, this is semi-pros, man. So, the only level higher than this is the NBA. And so, you try to get your guys to understand how important each game is, no matter what the opponent, because, the level of quad one wins and, that matters with the net ranking and all kind of other Ken Palm and all these other metrics that these people use to pick who goes in the NCAA tournament. Sometimes the eye test should just be like, yeah, they're an NCAA tournament team. Watch how they play. And we try to play like an NCAA tournament team instead of, try to play to the metrics of what's getting people there, because then you end up, not even focused on the right things to win games. And man, it's hard to win in these leagues. It's hard to keep your kids focused because social media is a different animal that's in these kids' lives every day, as opposed to me and Coach Irvin was playing. Man, you couldn't even call home and explain to your family because they would say, you ain't coming back here. Like that would be You better figure it out. You can go to social media and see if you're a good player or not. Enough people will tell you on social media whether you're good or not. And it's unfortunate. Learn how to navigate that, man, and your kids to win their minds right now. And that's probably the most important thing, is winning their minds this late in the season and keeping them focused and keeping them like, don't worry about all your individual stuff. You're going to get it if we win as a team.
I think, Chris, you just summed up. Like Byron always talks about, if you win, the individual accolades will come. And
Absolutely.
oftentimes I think guys too busy looking at, I don't want to say stat chasing, because, you have to have a level. You have to have some numbers. I get that. But guys have to be able to focus on getting the wins. Now, you coach, Chris, you was in the Missouri Valley. Now you go from the Big 12 to the Big 10. Is there a big difference in the league, CeeLo? Like, I know, like, what's the main difference?
The biggest difference, like, obviously, when you talk about from the Valley mid-major to the two high major leagues that I've been in, is size and athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
The coaching, like, people want to think that the higher you are, the better coaching. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes talent is wins as much as coaching, because people always say what you want, the X's and O's or the Jimmys and Joes, because you can run great sets with bad players and lose. Like them good jokers got the ability to make a play out of nothing. That play don't work, they can still make a basket. That higher level, the better the player you can get. And when you look at the Big 12, just like right now, they got 7 ranked teams. And that's the most in the country right now. And I think, look at all the breakdowns. The Big 10 has 6 projected teams right now, with Northwestern being a part of that. But the Big 12 has 10. And that's the just to show you, that's like, if that happens, that's 16 bids from 2 leagues, which is unbelievable. And what that doing is make, like, all the leagues that are 1 bid that you have to win your conference tournament, that guarantees there's not going to be another bid from your league.
That's tough, Chris. That is tough.
Yeah, it is. Let me ask you this, Chris. Coach Gino Auriemma last week gave a great answer to the press conference. A reporter had asked him, what is the major difference now in recruiting kids and retaining them? And he said the NIL, because now the kids feel like you owe them something as opposed to you're going to help them. They're like, well, we're helping you and we can leave after a year if we want to. Talk to me a little bit about that dynamic, that power dynamic that we're seeing that is changing in all of the college sports, not just football and basketball, but it seems to really be affecting you guys in basketball, where one and done doesn't mean one and then I'm going to league. One and done means I won and then I'm going to DePaul next year or some other school.
Well, I mean, the dynamics have changed from that. You could be a one and done, but you could be, in college. You can be here 1 year and then you have the ability to transfer to another place another. Not only that, not only is it the NIL, but it's also the transfer rule too. So combine those 2 things together, that means that a lot of kids don't get to realize their potential where they start, because they don't have to. When I was a freshman, I wasn't playing early on. Then after December, I wanted to quit. I wanted to go home. In December, I went back, and January on, I was playing 20 minutes a game. But it's because, I stayed and fought through that. You don't have to fight through anything anymore. You mentally, you can quit in December and say, I got a place to go. So I don't care what they do. Like, you don't have to fight anymore, because you can go to another place without sitting out. See, that sit out rule used to hold dudes accountable, that if I transfer, I still got to sit out, but now you don't. And that makes it tough. But the NIL side of it means that you're a free agent if you're good. Basically, it's like the pro. If you're a good player, like if you're in the Missouri Valley, and it just goes to show you that in the Big 10, I want you to think about this: the starting center from Iowa, the starting center at Nebraska, one of the starting wings at Illinois, one of the starting guards at Purdue were from the Missouri Valley. Those are all good players on good teams. Imagine if they were with their teams on the mid-major level this year.
I mean, let's just think about this. Think when you was at SIU your junior and senior year in this NIL, you probably wouldn't be at SIU either. Think about that.
That's the truth.
I
You're
mean,
an all conference guard on the mid level. You can lead. Somebody is going to give you something at a higher level because you're experienced. You've won. You've proven it. Like it's really hurting high school recruiting because it makes us pay attention to college. Like we're not paying attention to high school kids. Like 2 or 3 years ago, you're paying attention to who can leave. What guy's got a 5th year. Figuring out okay, if this kid wants to leave, how can I get in on that? Those are the things that have changed the way of doing things. And it's unfortunate because, high school basketball, it's also like some of those guys are playing for nothing because now they're going to have to go to JUCO, or now there's a huge influx into prep schools. Prep schools are turning people away because they don't have enough spots. Because guys aren't getting scholarships that are Division I players. Is just that, we're looking to get older. Everybody in college athletics is looking to get older.
That's why, Chris, what you did at SIU should be appreciated, right? Because nowadays that's gonna be far and few. For you to keep Tony Young, Darren Brooks, Brian Mullen, and those guys, think how hard you would be mentally exhausted trying to keep guys these days like you did. That's why the stuff you did in the job that you did, it should be appreciated. Let me ask you this, CeeLo. From what you did, do people always call you a defensive coach? Like I was talking to somebody, I was down at Missouri. They was like, if I get a job, I'm gonna call CeeLo to take over the defense. I said, first of all, let's stop right there. First of all, Chris should get a job before you get a job. I'm gonna be honest with you. Chris, because I don't play that, Chris. If I roll with you, I roll. I'm just calling facts. I'm gonna say stuff you're not gonna say.
Right.
I said, that man been to Final Fours and been to about 10, 11 tournaments. You've been to none. So you get a job before him. First of all, I'm tripping on that. But secondly, Chris knows more about offense than defense. Do you get a little frustrated when people think you only know defense, or what's your thoughts on that? Or am I making too much out of it?
No, it is. I like to say that I'm a basketball coach, and it's funny that that when you get known for something, you get known for that, and I don't mind because I'm relevant because of it. But the other thing is, I'm a basketball coach. I want to coach basketball, and for you to do that, you got to be able to coach both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with me and Coach Collins, it was a perfect pairing. Like, that dude got a lot of offensive stuff, and it gives him a chance to really be who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And me helping him on the other side allows me to be who I am, as well. But, I'm a basketball coach first and foremost. Do I think about that side? Like, I'm very good on that side, and I think it's just how you look at things. If you look at the NFL, certain head coaches come up as offensive coordinators and certain coaches come up as defensive coordinators.
Great point.
But they don't ever make it an issue about which one they are. If you're a head coach, it is what it is. You get an opportunity, you do well, that's who you are. And it's funny that you say that. And I talked to our young assistant about it. I said, be good coaches, man. Don't let people pigeonhole you, say he's a recruiter only, he's this only, he's that only. Be a good coach, be a good assistant, help your coach win, because that's what it comes down to, man. Is when you can help your boss get an extension, you can help your boss win. Those are the most important things as far as your relevancy in this profession, and as far as like how you stair step and improve and move up.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Once again, we're being joined by Northwestern assistant coach Chris Lowry here on the What's Up Cuz show. And just to go back real quick, I found this real funny, coach, is that Cam McCormick, who is a tight end at the University of Miami, was granted a 9th year of eligibility by the NCAA last week. He's got 9 years of eligibility. I think they gave him like 2 COVID years. He had 3 redshirt years. And I've never heard anything like this. So I feel for y'all, Chris, because I don't know how you all do it. This man going to be like a 30-year-old senior out there playing football, but more power to him. Let me ask you this, Chris. The big game coming up Wednesday, and I know they're all big to you, but you're getting ready to take on their line now. Lance and I got a bunch of cousins that went to University of Illinois, so they mad at us because we got a Northwestern guest on. This game, talk to me about how big this game is for you just from a rivalry standpoint, and just because both of these teams are really good. For the first time in my life, I can remember where they're both really good at the same time.
You know, it's big because it's the next one, and that's what we try to get our guys, because if every game is a big game and you're trying to trick them into getting up for each game, at some point the emotional side is going to wear out and they're not going to believe in you. Like, you know, you just saying that, coach. Like, so we want to make sure they understand it's a Big Ten game and it's our next opponent. And we don't care what color they are, you know, what color the uniform. We have to get prepared to beat them. And like you said, you talking about your life, in my lifetime too, I'm 51 and they've never been in the NCAA tournament except for last year.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's so crazy when you think about how good they've been, and I mean the Big Ten is, and now Northwestern. You know, we have some swag, a little bit of swag now. You know, we got to be careful that it don't turn to all swag. We got to keep our substance, you know, and keep who we are. But man, you know, a lot of people are excited about that game coming up, and you know, obviously as a coach, you don't want to downplay any opponent or overhype any opponent, but we know how good they are, and they know how good we are. So, you know, I think it'll be a fun game to be a part of.
I went to the game last year, Jay, and my man left me some really good seats where I sit about 10 rows from the court. And I'll be there Saturday too, CeeLo. I'll talk to you about that. Offline, I'll be there. But CeeLo, now let me switch a little bit. Now let's have some fun a little bit now. What's your best steak and why? Talk to me about that. Because Jay, man, I used to go out with Chris. Now, one thing I love about Chris, let me tell you about Chris now. You go out with CeeLo. Me and Paulie used to go out with CeeLo. Chris, one of them coaches, he's picking up every tab. I ain't never paid. But Chris, why do you and Paula really like drawing butt on your steaks like that? Come on, talk to me about
Les, you terrible, man. Hey, you know, you just to your palate, man. You know, me and Paula, it's a beautiful thing to eat a good cut of meat, man. I'm telling you. And you know, we had some great times, man. And, you know, I really like that filet, man. That filet. Man, if it's cooked right and to how you like a little drawn butter, man, a little garlic on that, it's heaven, you know. And that's and Lance knows, like, we go recruiting, we gotta go somewhere good, man. Like,
we going somewhere nice. But see, let me ask you this. I mean, it's a tough situation. Do you feel like coaching is more stressful these days than what it was when you first got to the business? Because mental health is real, right? And we just had a coach lost his job. So you think it's more stressful now than it ever was? People always talking about the money that we make, but talk to me about the stress.
Well, you know, man, it's so stressful, man. And you know, Lance, you know this. Once your kids can learn to read as an assistant coach or head coach, that's when the stress level picks up, because your kids and your wife and people they feel it. They can read it now, what it is. You know, before, when they're little, they don't know and they're just running around having fun in the gym. It's cool, but once they learn, oh, my daddy's what? You know, they start paying attention. They can read, like they can read the stuff that people say about their father. That's their father, not the basketball coach. Those stress put the stress on your family, like them being able to go to social media and see what people are saying after a big win and after a big loss. Or they find out that their dad gets fired on social media. You know, that happens. Like it's the nature of this profession. But the stresses are different, man. You know, I got into it because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But once I started doing it at the JUCO level, man, I loved it. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna do this. And then, you know, there's been several bumps along the road where you be like, man, I can't do this no more, man. These kids drive me crazy, man. You just don't know if you could keep doing it. But then something always happens, like, this is what I'm meant to do, man. What else am I going to do? You know, and that side always kicks in. The love of doing what you do kicks in, man. And you know, the stresses around it are different. So many people around one kid, you have to work. The parents, the workout guy, the pastor, the high school coach, high school assistant, the AAU coach. The AAU coach assistants. Like there's so many other people now. Some guys got these NIL guys too. So now there's so many people around at the agents and stuff that, man, it's just like, can I just talk to the kid? You know, it's just like, what does he want? Like, you know, what how does he want to play? What does he want to do? And it used to be when me and Coach Irvin's like, it was like this, like you gonna earn a degree. Oh man, and that's what your family was like. I'll be able to take this degree home and give it to my grandparents, man, give it to my grandmother. Let be the catalyst for my younger siblings to go to college and dream about getting this. Now it's like, hey, how much NIL y'all got? It ain't even about playing time no more either. It's like, you know, NIL. And when you start talking money to people who don't have money, first, and you don't talk about degrees and sustain, you know, lifetime wellness because of a degree and because you get to go to college for 4 years, it's changed it. And the other thing that's changed and that adds to the stress, if you recruit a kid back in the day, if he transferred, he sat out for a whole year and he got a whole year's worth of schoolwork done. And that basically guaranteed they would graduate. Now, they keep now you don't have to sit out. Now they just go from next to next, and you cutting short the process, which used to be a sit out year to get acclimated where you are, to make sure you get used to the academic situation where you're in. Now it's like, hey, I'm gonna go get this NIL money over here, and then if I graduate, I'm gonna go a fifth year and I'm gonna go somewhere else, get some more NIL money, to stay in college.
Man, like coach.
Yeah, we're creating professional college players, basically.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is, man. And sometimes, you know, you used to be able to think for a kid, man, you get they pail, hey, let's hold this pail, let's hope, and man, you can put this together, man. You get you a car in the spring. Now, man, they be like, Coach, I'm good. I'm getting me a car next week. I was like, what? you good? You already get a car? Like, yeah, I'm good.
Like Coach, conversation players come in. Hey, Coach Lowry, you know, I like that car. You drive a nice car, Coach Lowry, but I think about getting that Mercedes Benz, that GLE truck. Like, how do you have those conversations, Coach? They come in. Now, Coach Lowry is driving a GLE, and your player pull up next to you driving the GLE. That's probably wasn't as good as you when you was in high school, Coach. I mean, how do you handle that?
I mean, it's interesting you say that because like now they can lease these big boy cars. They got enough to be able to lease something really nice because they're not going to be there. So they really don't go nowhere either. So let's say you riding a nice car for, you know, whatever the lease is, whatever the mileage is, you ain't gonna go over because you basically rolling around campus. And that's going on, you know, and it's interesting that they can do that. Like, what am I going to say to somebody who says, you know, should I buy or lease? You know, you shouldn't buy because you don't know how long this NIL thing is going to last at this level or whatever. But if you got the money for a guaranteed lease, do it. Like, because you'll have something nice and you understand what that means. And someday I hope that you'll be able to buy a car like that. And, you know, just trying to teach them something as opposed to letting them run wild and just have money that they've never had. And the other issue is causing rifts because now back in the day, the parent used to be able to call Coach Irvin, tell him to call me, you know, now they got a little money. They ain't calling. Coach Irvin can't get them to call, man. I ain't calling her. She going to ask me for some money. And think about that. That's like they ain't calling their people because they getting the money themselves. You know what I mean? So that's the funny thing was going on.
But,
that's deep.
I remember, Chris, Nick and I was teasing you last year, right? We said, you know what? You're the MVP assistant coach of the Big Ten. And the next day you got the Howard Moore Most Valuable Assistant Coach Award in the Big Ten. How did that make you feel? That's a great award. How did you feel about that?
I mean, knowing Howard and what that whole situation, man, like emotionally, I felt it because I know the man and I know what he lost and went. Man, that such a sad story, man. And I didn't know. I was just sitting around, and you know, those guys knew in the office that I won, and I didn't know. And Coach Collins came in, and you know, they filmed and they were messing with me, and and they, said congrats on, being Big Ten Assistant Coach of the Year, the very first one, the Howard Moore. And it was emotional because, I know him and what unless, one of the best human beings on earth, man. Just a great spirit, good person, good coach, man. And, I was very, very, touched by it. And like they was making fun of me, and then it actually happened. And so I had no idea. And it just, when you go through things as a coach and you feel vindication, you always feel better about it. And you feel good about what you do and how you teach things, and to see it play out how it did last year, under the pressure that, we were under to be successful. That's what made it so good, that those kids really bought in, man, and played so hard. And it was a beautiful thing to watch and see them grow as players, as people, and the most importantly, as winners, because that's what they learned how to do.
Man, Chris, Chase Aldice and those guys got after it. Now, didn't he win the Defensive Player of the Year award last year?
Yeah, he was Defensive Player of the Year in the 10 last year. I mean, and he was special. And of course, we loved to have had that Joker back, man. I'd be all smiles if that Joker was back with what we got, because he was that good, man. And Chase, just like you said earlier, man, Chase could tell you, I play offense too. He'll tell you in a minute. I can play offense too. I ain't just that. And he was second team All Big Ten and the best defender in the Big Ten as well. So that just goes to show you, man, that you believe in something, anything can happen.
You know what? But when we I think we had Jason. How long ago was Chris Collins on the show? Couple
we
of years
had Chris
ago?
on about 2 years ago.
We had Chris on 2 years ago. When we talked to Chris about Northwestern was starting to get some really good players and stuff. Now you have Boo Bowie in the backcourt. I think Barry's there. And talk to us about the type players you all been able to get, Chris. I saw Serafino the other night that played for Mount Carmel. He's a really good player. Talk to us about the type player that you all been able to get at Northwestern.
I mean, I think the biggest thing, man, is, when you don't consider yourself a bottom dweller and you go out and actually play at a level that's appealing to kids, they'll go to your school. Like no matter, how hard it is to get into, it's a whole lot of smart kids that are good players. We just got to get them. You know what I mean? We can't let them go to the other places. Yeah. There's a bunch of great students in the Big Ten right now in all these other schools. So now we gotta glorify our situation when people come into our building and see how crazy it is now. They like, oh, this is different. That's what has been created by our players to watch fun basketball. And I think that's what we've created is a great outlet for our students to come and be a part of. And also, with social media, we can create interesting little small videos and show like what it's like in the day in the life to be here. And, the perception of, it's just book smart people over there, nerds over there. Like, and you see Boo Boy, who's as sharp as anybody in the country, but that brother can hoop too. Like, you know what I mean? Like don't get it twisted. That dude got into Northwestern, but get him on that court. You can't keep him in front of you either. So that's what we got to continue to promote is that, smart players, smart kids. And it is hard to get in here, man. But this is a place that'll set you up for life, man. You get in here and it's a different deal once you get that paper from this place.
Yeah, it is. And staying on that topic, and Tara Vanderveer yesterday just became the all-time winningest coach in basketball. She passed up Krzyzewski with 1,200 wins, and she's at Stanford. Same deal as Northwestern. You got to be smart to get up in Stanford. You know what I'm saying? So I've always, growing up in Chicago and knowing about Northwestern, I always was like, Northwestern could be Stanford. They could be Stanford. Duke is an excellent academic school. Krzyzewski was able to be successful there. So I've always said, why not Northwestern? I'm glad to see what you all are doing with the basketball program. And I'm really glad that you came on to say, look, you can be a ball player and an academic at Northwestern. There's a place for you here at our school. Chris, let me ask you this. What is going to be the key now for Northwestern taking that next step? Because obviously just getting to the tournament and, hopefully doing it in consecutive years, that's going to be progress. But now, what is it going to take for Northwestern to make a run and get to a Final Four like Loyola did a few years ago?
Number one, a little bit of luck. So let's be real honest, because obviously they're very good, very well coached, but to get there, it requires a lot of things, timing, everything else, winning, who you draw, your matchups, and those are the type of things that we want. But you don't want to just get there; you want to sustain it, because like getting to the Final Four is a great thing, man. But if you can't sustain past that, then then it was just a good year. And we've had good years at Northwesterns. We want to build it. It's like you want a job or a career. We want to build this thing to where we're perennially going to the tournament, because that's more. I mean, yeah, you want to go to the Final Four. Everybody does that, but you keep your job when you consistently win, and that's what it's about. It's about continuous winning, continuously making sure you're relevant in these kids' minds, because it's easy to forget what people did 5 years ago. It really is. Like, people don't even know who won it all. Who was in the Final Four 5 years ago? They don't know, but they know who won it. And that's the reality of being relevant now, because the media and the social media keeps you relevant as long as you're winning. And once you're not relevant on that side of it, then you're not relevant to them. And it's so important. And we don't. And Chris Collins and trust me. Like, we talk about Stanford, we talk about Duke, we talk about Vanderbilt, and because we're the four major high boy academic schools in these big boy leagues. Yeah. And hey, we ain't beating Duke. Let's just be real honest. But now we can. I mean, for players and guys, we can beat them other dudes, and that's how we feel. Like, we feel we can beat those other guys to get good players. And it's so funny. We always talk about this should be the Stanford of the Midwest. The academics is this good, man. The academics are that well. The campus is that beautiful. You own Lake Michigan, man. Yes. In the summertime, look like you at the ocean on the beach, man. Yep. And so the sell is unbelievable when you get them on that campus, and that's you got to get them there, and you got to get them and show them and consistently win.
And just the networking again. I only did about one summer program there, and what it did for my media career just that one summer has been amazing. So I definitely get it. Chris, Lance was talking earlier, his first job with Joey Meyer and how much he made. So let's just ask you, your first coaching job, your first college coaching job, how much money was Chris Lowry making?
Oh, I got like $2,000 for the coaching, $1,000 a semester. Then I had to work at the fitness center to get up to minimum wage, like above the poverty line. So it was, I think it was 11,000. Like, and I had to put in a bunch of hours in that fitness center, man. Open it up at 6 a.m. and closing it. So yeah, I tell people all the time, like, they looking right now. Nah, man, the first two was about $11,000 to $15,000 the second year probably. And my wife got to check stuff when I was Division II. So I went from junior college Division II, and she got that check stuff for that check from the Division II level, and she'd be like, she could make fun of me, like, look at this. Like, this is for our kids to see you could do anything. And that's the God's honest truth. Yep. Because when you're doing something you love, you'll start at it for nothing, man. You'll start at the bottom for nothing. And so right now these dudes want to get in. Man, how can I get to your level? Like, well, what's your experience? I'm just trying to get in your level. Like, it don't work.
You can't skip steps.
You can't go to the top first. Like, and that's that's what it is. Like, the grunt work, the film, all that stuff. You got to do that first, man. You got to go babysit some dudes, walk them to class, go around the back, and then come back again and see if they come out. Like, you got to go do that stuff first, man. That's what gives you character, man. And when you catch them, lady, I'm still out here, man. Going back in there, But that means you have lifelong relationships with these kids, because it's funny now when they grown up and they got their own kids and they say, "Coach, man, I appreciate you making me go back in that classroom, man. I told my kids the other day, man, I tried to sneak out 3 times in one. I had kids sneak out 3 times, but in one class, and I called him the first time, stayed in the middle, tried to get out in the middle. Then he tried to go before. I said, hey, man, I'm still here, man. Man, we laugh about that to this day, man. I talked to that kid, you know, we laugh to this day because it's funny, man. Like they'll try anything. And to be able to talk to him and him have a degree in kids, man, and doing well for himself, man, that makes me feel even better that I thought enough to say, hey, man, I want you to do this for me, man, please. Just so in 10 years I ain't reading about you being in jail or dead, man. And that was the beauty of it.
See, Lord, I got the last 1 or 2 questions. First question, Jason and I always argue about, the NBA City Life uniforms. You know how the NBA got those flashy uniforms, right? What's your comment? What's your thoughts on those flashy NBA uniforms, CeeLo? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Man, some of them I like them, but man, you got to be good to wear flashy, man. and I get mad. It's like when we was growing up, and you see the dude with the whole Jordan outfit to come to the park. He usually the worst player at the park all day. Can't play, but you look, he got the Jordans on, the whole Bulls pinstripe red outfit on, with the wristband and the sleeve on his calf like Mike, and he terrible.
All right. Last Coach Lowry question. You've been to Chicago a couple of years now, and you know how we feel about our pizza. I'm not gonna put you on the spot. You got Lou Malnati's, you got Geno's. I'm gonna give you Pags and Carbondale. What else, Jay? I'm gonna give you Pags and Carbondale.
Giordano's.
What's the Chris, Coach Lowry, CeeLo pizza answer?
Well, I'm a Quattro's guy in Carbondale, so it's between Pags and Quattro. So, oh boy, and I'm a Lou Malnati's guy. I'm sorry, but I had a pizza from a place called Pequod's the other day, and they.
I heard about that.
It was unbelievable. Oh man, I couldn't believe it, man. Caramelized crust on the outside, man, crispy. I said, wait a minute, they like, oh, it's 3 or 4 of these in town. These are, I was like, okay. So they got in my top 4. They got in my top 4, but and I'm gonna tell you this, man, on the frozen pizza side, and I don't like it, man. I get home run in every single time on the frozen pizza level, man. And, and I don't know why. I just like it. It's just to me, I like it. But I'm a Lou Malnati's first and foremost.
Man, I had it.
Nice.
CeeLo, we appreciate you being on the show. I'm gonna call you. I'll be there Saturday. I'll be there Saturday, CeeLo. I'm coming. I'm coming to the game. Take care of me.
I really appreciate you coming on. Yeah.
No, I've got a blast, man. Me and Lance, we clown.
Hey, man. CeeLo, I'm coming. I see you Saturday.
Yeah.
Hopefully we go out to eat. I'll be there. I'm gonna stay a little bit longer this game. Bricky was rushing me out last year. I'll be there until y'all finish.
I didn't tell Chris this story, Lance, but I had a whole lot of fun in Evansville when I was like 19, 20 years old. I know about Lincoln Avenue, Chris.
Oh my God. He know about the block. That's the block.
Lincoln Avenue? What the hell is Lincoln Avenue? What is he talking about?
Lincoln Avenue? I know about some fine women that be on Lincoln Avenue. And your cousin that did some stuff on Lincoln Avenue, Lance Irvin.
Oh, that's offline conversation. Chris still got to get him a head job. We'll talk about that offline.
Some fun in Evansville, and I got friends still down there. But most of them went to your rival. Most of them went to Bossy.
Yeah, it was your Bossy.
And you went to Harrison. Yeah, right. He went to Harrison. They went to Bossy. But yeah, I know a lot about Evansville, Chris. It's a nice small town. Let me say that, ladies and gentlemen.
I grew up on Bedford and Lincoln, so and we call it the block, man. Everybody got a block that they supposed to be on when they're young, and old heads say, hey, what you doing up here, man? You get on off the street.
That's what I can describe it last. Lincoln Avenue is like South Chicago back in the day.
Like what?
Yeah, it's like that. So, hey, Chris, thank you so much for coming on, man. Good luck to you, man. And tell Chris we said what's up.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate you, man.
I'll see you Saturday, CeeLo. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Chris Lowry, everybody from Northwestern and Wildcats, baby. We still pulling for them, and I'm pulling for them. We got to beat them alive now. Sorry, cousin Lisa, you're just gonna be mad at me. All right, cousin Lance, we got 10 minutes left in the show. I got a bunch of topics that I want to go through with you.
Let's talk.
All right,
Hey,
so
how
Sean,
good
we'll
of a
go
guy?
through them.
How good
Oh,
of a
he's a
guy
great
is
guy, great
CeeLo?
guest, great
You
guest,
talking
great
about
guest, great guest.
Lincoln and Bedford. You just threw one
we're
in
gonna
on me.
talk about the Evil. I can talk to him about the Evil for a minute. We're gonna talk about that. But hey, let me talk about a couple other things. Sean will help me get through this. We're gonna stay on basketball. We're gonna go to the women's side a little bit. I got some photos, man.
What we got? What we got?
Watch out, Caitlin Clark. And I ain't saying watch out for Caitlin Clark. I'm saying watch out for. You saw the person that ran onto the court yesterday.
I missed it. I heard about it, but I missed it.
Caitlin Clark, her team lost to Ohio State. She ended up getting run over during the on-court celebration.
Oh, come on, cuz.
Out the court the other game. That's the impact of it. You see, the fan was running. Now they didn't try to hurt her. I gotta be honest.
So they
the
stormed
fan
the
was so
court.
excited.
So they
were
stormed the court.
storming the court, and the police just ran over poor Caitlin Clark. The police officers are sitting there. They supposed to be protecting her. They wasn't fast enough. Caitlin got just trucked, looking like an old boy from Kansas City running the ball. She got trucked. Ended up having to be carried out to court. Lance, you've been in some of them storm the court celebrations. What is that experience like?
Hey Jay, I've been in a couple, right? One when I was in college and a couple when I was coaching, right? I get a little nervous. When I was in college, Jay, people coming from everywhere. Like they just jumping all over you and you don't know, I mean, your adrenaline high. But when coaching too, man, Jay, you don't have no room to move. Like they just all on top of you. It's hard to get to the locker room and stuff like that. And quite frankly, Jay, I get a little nervous, Jay, when they start doing that. Like I said, you happy for the students though, but man, it's tough to get out of those things. I tell you that. It takes a minute. It's not as easy to get out of there as people think.
Agreed. So I've never been a part of the storm the court as a coach or a player, but I have been in them situations as a referee when they storm the court, and it's a scary thing. Because like you say, it's people coming from everywhere, and you don't know if someone's going to try to take a cheap shot at you or what's going on. So you really are just trying to get out of there as fast as humanly possible. So you got to kind of watch out for that. So all right, next topic. Yesterday at midnight, or actually at 12:01, WNBA free agency opened, where prospective free agents could be contacted by teams looking for their services. No one can sign until February the 1st. But free agency has opened. What do the Sky need, Lance?
You know what? I always go with size, Jay, to go with Copper. I mean, I think if they could get somebody 6'3", 6'4", that's really a knockdown shooter, and to get to the basket, that would help. But you know what, Jay? I'm just going to simplify it for the audience. They need the best available player at this point in time. And somebody that's going to be there for a couple of years. I think sometimes we try to make it too difficult. Get the best available player. Like if you look at on the men's side, the Indiana Pacers picked up Siakam. They don't even know if they could sign him back, but they felt that was the best available player. So the Sky just need the best available player at this point in time, because I still think that the Las Vegas Aces not going anywhere. The New York Liberty not going anywhere anytime soon, Jay. Connecticut not going anywhere anytime soon. So just pick up the best available player, construct a team. Hopefully in a year or two or three, they'd be a lot better.
That's a great assessment. However, I would be targeting Skylar Diggins-Smith because I think they need a point guard. I think Dana Evans is a great player.
What I was going to say? I'm going to say Dana Evans. I love me some Dana Evans now.
But what I would say is I think you can play them both at the same time along with Copper, because Copper is kind of like a 2-3 if I'm looking at her game. And I've always liked a 3-guard offensive set as well. I think that could be devastating. And I think if you get Skylar, though, who can really run kind of any offense and let her quarterback that thing, and they pick up a big, I think the Sky will be a pretty dangerous team. But I really think Skylar Diggins-Smith, getting back closer to home to play. I don't think she's going to go to the Fever. I think, the Sky would be a better fit for her because they got more talent right now. I that's who I would be targeting number one in free agency. But I do agree with you that they also need a big or just the best player available. But I would really be going after Skylar.
I got to dig a little deep into that because didn't Skylar miss the year last year? Didn't work out right. Who was she with? Phoenix?
She was with Phoenix, and then the owner had problems with her and all that stuff. So
I got to check into that.
But that is an excellent point that you bring up. All right, next topic. Oh God. So this happened during the cluster screw up of the Chicago Bulls, the Ring of Honor ceremony, and poor Jerry Krause's widow got food. Thank God Ron Harper was there to put his arms around her. I was so embarrassed for Chicago. I really was. And I get it. Jerry Krause is not loved by Chicago people, but the man is dead. So, first of all, you booing a dead person, people, which don't make no damn sense. And then his widow was there. She had to witness that. Now, I don't think the people were booing her. And when they did show her on the screen and her reaction, people stopped. But damn, Chicago, we ain't Philadelphia, man. And some stuff you just gotta let go, man.
So, Jay, the man did help architect the team, right? He did last time I checked have some saying that Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, he brought Dennis Rodman in, he brought Ron Harper in. Some stuff just let it go. Like, he wasn't a bad guy. He maybe didn't do business at the end like we wanted to and broke up the team. But at some point in time, you have to break up a team. That's kind of classless if you ask me, Jay. I'm not doing that. The man isn't here.
I agree. So we just wanted to say that. And last thing, real quick, I'll just post a photo. Our girl, little sis, Coco, she's into the quarterfinals. She will be playing tonight at 8 o'clock. She's undefeated on the season so far, 7-0. She will play at 8 o'clock tonight against a lady from Ukraine whose name I cannot pronounce, so I'll just call her Marta.
She's playing Marta. Playing Marta tonight.
She's playing Marta tonight at 8 o'clock. So everybody tune in and check out Little Sis play. That's it for What's Up, Cuz. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you again next week. Sean, take us out of here. We out.
Stop eating pizza.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise. High as the listening skies, let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught.